Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can get creative with some diorama lighting solutions for some otherwise tricky builds. This is my Death Star conference room. The walls, table, and chairs, not shown here, are from Hole in the Ground Productions. I'm not going to talk about the flooring here as I covered that in another video about the hangar bay control room I made, so maybe check out that video after this one. Now, this room is pretty straightforward. It's a bunch of repeating walls. But one thing about these walls is in the movie they have recessed lighting. And if you want to replicate that lighting effect, you have a challenge ahead because of the solid cast walls. Sure, you could Dremel like crazy and jam an LED in there, but there's a much, much better way. Especially if you have the correct tools. A soldering iron is a must-have. A table saw will certainly make life easier here as well. I realize that not everyone has a table saw. However, you could do the same with a Dremel cutter, though it would take a lot longer and not as fine results. First, I cut a groove through each wall section. It is very important you leave enough material to avoid compromising the wall, and you also need to cut at just the right spot behind the slats. Next, cut a 45-degree angle, which takes a wedge out of the wall. There's your lighting access. Now, if you don't want to see the cuts on each end wall, take a thin piece of styrene and glue it on as a cover to each end wall. Now paint the walls and assemble the curve. Now, here is your lighting solution. Many people may not know that although you can buy plug-in light strips, that they still operate on DC voltage. They simply have components wired in that convert the AC to the DC. Knowing this, a great lighting option for this type of diorama is a light strip that can be cut to length. I have some excess strip that was cut off of a light strip I installed in a display cabinet. The wire switch and AC components are installed there, and normally, most people would throw this excess away in the garbage. Don't throw it away. You now have an LED strip that can work with typical DC batteries. One thing important to know is what DC voltage it requires. Fortunately, this one says right on it, 12 volts. If it doesn't, you can figure it out more or less by bit increasing the voltage you're testing it with. Running too much voltage through could kill or reduce the lifetime of the strip. Most LEDs have a minimum and maximum voltage that they'll work with. I found that a good 9-volt battery was sufficient for this, and better than using 8 AA batteries, which would just add a lot of weight and space. Just FYI, if you didn't know, AAA, AA, C, and D cell batteries are all 1.5 volts each. Before installing the light strip itself, we want to get as much reflection of light going in the right direction. For this, I use aluminum tape, which has an almost mirror shine to it. Cut a bunch of pieces and tape them to the angle of each wall section. Before putting the LED strip on, I soldered on a short section of wire here. Remember where your negative and positives are. So there are a few ways that the strip can be held in place, but I'm going to go with what I think is easiest and easiest to undo or replace if need be. I'm using colored vinyl decal material, but really, duct tape would work fine as well. The LED strip is self-adhesive, and I'll stick the two sticky sides together. Now I wrap the tape around the back of the wall so that the LED strip is stuck to the tape, and the tape is stuck to the wall. Now wire in the battery and switch. Voila! I am so happy and impressed with how this came out. I really wish I had thought of this particular kind of solution before, as I have another diorama I made not long ago of Luke's garage, and this technique would have worked better than a few single LEDs spread throughout. So I may end up going back and redoing that at some point. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and check out the Kessel Run Collecting podcast on most podcatchers. Also check out Hole in the Ground Productions for over 200 diorama parts and kits.